Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today hopefully we're going to conclude the discussions around the Taurus TX22 and the fun with barrels that we've had with it, and that I know several of the viewers have had. And I know over time a couple of you guys have asked us for updates, and it's been difficult to provide updates, partially because of the timeline of even getting the barrels. So we released the first video right around September 19th, or filmed it in that time frame. So that kind of gives us a starting point where we determined that there was a problem with this thing. The owner got in touch with Taurus. They were out of barrels at that point in time. They'd send him one as soon as they got one. On the 12th, a barrel arrived here. So this is the first barrel. And then this is the second barrel. So on the 12th of December, I didn't qualify that. So almost 3 months later, the first barrel was replaced with the second barrel. And I had intended to do an update on that. We took it to the range and fired it. Not only was it just as bad as the first barrel, but it also had turned it into a jam-o-matic. Nothing would feed reliably through it. It wouldn't run. I couldn't get through a magazine and get it to run. So I couldn't even get enough ammo through it to determine if it was going to let up or not. But I'm going to cut into a little clip where I talk about the barrels a little bit, because this barrel was actually way worse than the first one. So let me cut in and then we'll come back. So this is the original barrel that he got, and you can see that there's some non-concentricity to it. It's not, the rifling isn't centered well, and as you look at it, it may be tough to see on camera, but there's some shattering marks. And I tried putting light in here, but when you bright this up with a bunch of light, it pretty much covers everything up and kind of hides it. This is the second barrel. The non-concentricity is actually worse on the second barrel, and see that dirt in the grooves there? No matter how much I cleaned it, I couldn't get that out. So that's not dirt, that's some sort of defect. And the third barrel he received is quite concentric. You'll see it's very well centered, and some of the things you're seeing there are just kind of halos from the shadows and stuff like that. But this barrel is actually quite clean. All three of them came dirty from being tested, but this one, the latest one, actually cleaned up nicely and has worked well. So as you can see from that, the second barrel that was supposed to fix all the problems not only didn't fix the original problem, it made it far worse. And by the way, the markings you see on these barrels are markings I put there with the owner's permission to differentiate the barrels to make sure that we didn't accidentally mix them up. And I do know, if you look at them closely, there are some differences in the stampings and the fonts. Slightly different font and a little bit different pattern on them. So you could kind of differentiate them from that, but I wanted to be able to keep track of which was which, and so did he. So the third barrel, he got on the phone with Taurus, and this time he was a little peeved. Got some management types involved, got some escalation going on, and at first they told him they didn't have any barrels, they were on back order, and then the very next day he got a shipping notification, barrel got shipped to him, and around the 23rd, 24th, this new barrel arrived, and I was able to pick it up from him, and we were able to take it out this weekend. And the results you're waiting for, it did actually work. The gun was reliable, it fed all the same ammo that it fed the first time, it was able to feed M22, which I know some people have had trouble with, that we'd run through at the first barrel with no problem, and this barrel, it ran no problem. And as you could see from the little video cut-in that I did, the barrel cleaned up nice. It didn't lead foul. There wasn't any more dirt or fouling in it than I would expect from any other 22. One thing I almost forgot to mention too, this second barrel, when it did arrive, it arrived in one of those FedEx boxes that you'd put documents in. They're kind of 1 inch deep and 8.5 by 11-ish, just loose, just like you see it flopping around in the box. Now it's a piece of metal in a cardboard box. That's really not going to hurt it, but it is a little bit on the sloppy side. He mentioned that when he called in on the second to get the third barrel. So the second time he was calling in about a new replacement barrel, and the last one arrived well padded. So I'm not sure if his management escalation changed his outcome versus what you guys might encounter. A couple other things I want to mention. This comes with this thread adapter, and the first thread adapter he had was defective. It wouldn't thread onto the barrel, onto the original barrel. So he got in touch with them, and he'd forgotten to mention this to me. They sent him a replacement thread adapter, which works. Now the interesting thing is this is the replacement. This will thread onto the new barrel, but so will the original one that was considered bad will thread onto this new barrel. So I think the problems were more with the barrel and the tolerances in the barrel than the thread the thread adapters themselves, which really kind of makes it wonder about the consistency. Now I know some other people had mentioned in their videos, but before I handle this thing too much, show you that it is unloaded. Some other people had mentioned in their videos that they had problems mounting the new barrels, that the wings here at the base were out of spec and it wouldn't mount on, and one reviewer actually had to go to the point of putting it muzzle down and forcing it back into place. Didn't have that problem with any of the three barrels. The original barrel, the really bad replacement barrel, and then the last final working barrel, they worked fine. Another thing that was mentioned that he had forgotten to send with me, actually he didn't forget it, he hated it so bad he just didn't bother with it, is it does come with a loader. And I had said that it didn't because I didn't get one with it. And it kind of works like the Glock and XDM loaders. It pushes down the top round, and then you put the next round in. And what he found is this was very difficult to use because of the way you have to jockey the round in past these lips. So he had bought this hill jack, which actually, I think if I get it on there the right way, attaches just to the little tabs. So yes, it does come with a mag loader, but you really probably want to look at getting this hill jack. It's a QLX22, and you'll see that it makes it very, very easy to operate it. And so I showed you the model and hill jack. And these feel like they're 3D printed, but they do seem to be really good quality. So yes, they do come with a magazine loader, but you're not going to like it. You're probably going to want something like this. I don't think these are very expensive. So the end result is I'm going to be giving this back to him in working condition, and it is actually able to pull decent groups. When I was shooting it, I wasn't pulling as good a groups as I think I could with it. My eyes were acting up a little bit. The range was a little smoky that day, so I was having a little hard time focusing on the sights. But they are nice sights, and they are easy to see when your eyes want to play nicely with each other. I think they finally debugged it, and they've got it working. So the question then comes, if you have one of these, get in touch with them, get the replacement barrel if you're having any lead following issues at all, and hopefully they'll get you a good working barrel, hopefully without any intermediate worse ones. If you don't already have one of these and you're looking at them, they are nice guns. So I'm not going to say don't buy one, but what I will say is I don't have dates, I don't have serial number ranges, and I don't think I'll be able to get that information. So I can't tell you that anything you could just turn it over and look at it to say this is a good one or not. You're going to have to look at the barrel. You can get these really cheap on Amazon. We got these at Guns Galore. He gave them to us. And these light up a barrel really nicely. You put them in. You've seen me use these things before. Get one of these, check the barrel. If the FFL won't let you check the barrel, then walk away from the gun and go somewhere else. You can actually check the barrel with it in the gun, even though it's much easier to take it out. If you see any evidence of non-concentricity, chattering tool marks, any kind of evidence that it's a defective barrel, walk away. The only thing that you can look for, but I'm not going to swear that this is going to be consistent, is the font. You'll see the font is tighter on the new barrel. It's a little looser on the old barrel. But that's going to be based on the machine shop they have manufacturing them and what their machines are set up for. That's not going to be part of the critical spec. So I can't swear to you that the next batch of barrels won't be this font and be equally good. Overall, it is kind of a nice gun, and I hate to kind of completely dismiss it because of a manufacturing issue with one part that theoretically is resolved today. But I would say be careful. This isn't one to just walk into a gun store, pick up whatever happens to be laying there and take it home, because if it's an older generation, you may have trouble. To the best of my knowledge, Taurus is not doing it as a recall or an upgrade or any other kind of activity where they're proactively seeking the bad ones out. They're taking care of them as they come in. That may change. So for now, it is a good plinker. It is a nice gun once you've got a working barrel. The only thing is it's a crowded field. Other than the 15 round capacity, which is one of the things this has that many others doesn't, there's a lot of guns out there in that area that are same price range and haven't had these kinds of problems. So you can really get quite a few different 22s out there. So unless you have the skills to check a barrel or a friend with the skills to check a barrel, you might want to consider something known to be a little more reliable. And I know from talking to the owner, one of the things that he liked about this gun was the capacity, so he could preload his magazines before going to the range. By the way, I said it was 15. They're actually 16, which so it's one more round than I said. So he was kind of excited about the gun, shot it well until it started acting up, and it's kind of been really disappointing. I've owned the gun, or had possession of the gun, more than he has, waiting for these barrels. So I'm going to give it back to him, and of course he's going to try it again, but I think some of the enthusiasm for it may have rubbed off. I don't know whether he'll keep it or not, or send it on its way. But I do know from talking to him, this has kind of had an impact on his desire towards getting other Tauruses. So I'm not really sure how that'll play out. The end result is, if you try to get check it out, this is a known issue, make sure you get a good one so that your initial experience can be good if you choose to get one of these, and you can enjoy it rather than putting up with what he had to go through. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there if you do to get notified. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Gunstreamer, Instagram, Twitter. We're kind of all over the place now. And have a great day. Thank you.
No. Yeah, she hit below the target.
Loaded this way, and then almost standing in I
was aiming at the bullseye, the bottom of the bullseye, and it was scattered all over the place.
push in. Hold on, there you go. Yep. Kind of almost like standing it up, just like that.